We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news today. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, effectively ending recognition of a constitutional right to abortion and giving individual states the power to allow, limit, or ban the practice altogether. The ruling came in the court's opinion in Dobbs v. Jackson, Women's Health Organization, which centered on a Mississippi law that banned abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The Republican-led state of Mississippi asked the Supreme Court to strike down a lower court ruling that stopped the 15-week abortion ban from taking place. We end this opinion where we began. Abortion presents a profound moral question. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives, Justice Samuel Alito wrote in the court's opinion. The most important thing to remember is that this decision does not make abortion illegal. The decision gives the states the ability to regulate abortion. It also does not stop Congress from passing a national abortion law. Despite misinformation being spread, the majority of Americans will see no effect from this decision because many states already have laws protecting a woman's right to have an abortion. The late Ruth Bader Ginsburg had stated that Roe v. Wade was not decided on a strong legal basis, and that's what led to today's Supreme Court decision. In another decision, the Supreme Court ruled that North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature can defend their voter ID law in court. The state's legislative leaders argue that the state's Democratic Attorney General isn't doing enough to defend the law. The state law requires voters to present a photo ID. If they don't have one, they can cast a provisional ballot and show up later to present an ID to election officials. Anyone claiming a reasonable impediment to getting an ID also would be allowed to cast a ballot. The state's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper vetoed the bill, but the GOP-controlled legislature overrode him. Writing for the 8-1 majority, Justice Neil Gorsuch said legislative leaders who represent the people are authorized to defend duly enacted statutes against constitutional challenge. The U.S. Supreme Court also struck down a New York law that restricted the right to carry concealed weapons in public. The decision marked a significant expansion of gun rights that could topple other gun laws and result in more armed people in U.S. cities. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote for the majority that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. President Biden said the 6-3 ruling contradicts both common sense and the Constitution and should deeply trouble us all. This comment shows Biden's inability to understand constitutional law, as the Second Amendment clearly gives people the right to bear arms. The Food and Drug Administration on Thursday ordered Juul Labs to stop selling e-cigarettes in the United States, part of an ongoing effort to reduce nicotine-related deaths from smoking and vaping. Most of Juul's sales are in the U.S., so the decision could be devastating for the company. Juul said it disagreed with the ruling and would seek a stay. We remain committed to doing all in our power to continue serving the millions of American adult smokers who have successfully used our products to transition away from combustible cigarettes, the company said. The once booming company stopped selling sweet and fruity flavored e-cigarettes in the U.S. market and limited its marketing after being accused of driving a youth vaping crisis. Netflix confirmed it has laid off another 300 employees, or about 3% of the company. While we continue to invest significantly in the business, we made these adjustments so that our costs are growing in line with our slower revenue growth, Netflix said in a statement. Netflix laid off about 150 workers in May, again citing slowing revenue growth. The layoffs followed an April announcement that the streaming video company lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of the year, the first such loss in 10 years. Analysts had expected a modest gain. Netflix cited a variety of factors, including heavy competition from rival streamers like Disney Plus and HBO Max, as well as password sharing. Netflix is cracking down on sharing and adding a cheaper ad-supported option to lure more subscribers. The Senate voted 65-33 to pass the first major bipartisan legislation to address gun violence in nearly 3 decades. The House plans to vote Friday, a month after the Uvalde, Texas school massacre, and send the bill to the president for his signature. The $13 billion bipartisan Safer Communities Act seeks enhanced background checks on gun buyers ages 18 to 21 and closes the boyfriend loophole to bar gun purchases by people convicted of domestic violence against a romantic partner. It also encourages states to use red flag laws to seize guns from people deemed a threat to themselves or others, and provides funding for community mental health programs and school security, among other provisions. There are still questions whether this can pass the House, as there has been pushback from both the far left, who say this doesn't go far enough, and the far right, who say it goes too far. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.